Hi there. As of now, Bitcoin Cash is down by about 3% so far this week. It's time to look at it through the Wyckoff lens and see what the whales are doing that impacts our win or lose. If you're new to my session, I'll cover the Wyckoff stage, the trend change potential, as well as key price levels. These are education content, not financial advice. The weekly chart of BCH is showing us that the bulls are trying to get back to above the uptrend support line that we talked about in the past couple of weeks. But you clearly see this weight coming from there. The bulls weren't successful in wheeling over the bears above that 540 green tea level. But the bears doesn't get a much stronger upper hand either, because from the bottom, you see for 2 consecutive weeks, the bulls have been successful in pushing the price back to around $515. They're not letting the bears shoot below the yellow key level of 482. That's the level where the previous sign of weaknesses back in November and October last year reached. Okay, so from a Wyckoff distribution perspective, we are going to see, either side that's going to win, but the likelihood is that, it's edging towards the yellow T level, showing us another sign of weakness. However, if the price continues to drop with multiple red candles without a rebound at that level, or somewhere in between the yellow T level and the orange T level, that means there won't be any last point of supply showing up, and there won't be sign of weakness either. It's just even consider straight leg down back to accumulation. It doesn't mean it has to go all the way back to the previous accumulation cycle levels. Below the purple key level of 320, it can accumulate higher, but we have to observe when we get to that point. In terms of volume, the volume isn't particularly low, I would say. It's lower than the first half of 2025, but it's higher than the second half. So activity is still, I would say, kind of strong within BCH. And that's probably not a good sign if, like what we see, these red candles plus the prior white candles over here back in December, second half of December, it was actually, not a strong case for the price to go up. You kept seeing there were people selling these long wicks from the top. There were people selling at those levels, while some people kept FOMOing in, catching the last rally. All right, so that's the big picture. If you're still hoping it to come back up to where you challenged the previous levels, these volumes, similar to what happened back in December, has to come in, but without these long wicks from the top. Okay, seeing those on good sign. You see over here, these candles, especially this one over here, did not have a very long wick from the top, but those have long wicks from the bottom, not this one, sorry, this one. That's why when it gets to this point and the volume dropped, it can still kind of edge up, but it did not last long compared to what we have over here. You clearly see the long wicks from the bottom compared to the wicks on the short wicks on the top. Those are the signs that the rally would sustain. But once you see these long wicks from the top, you see what happens subsequently. All right. So this big picture, next stage, I already talked about that it's probably going to come down to show a sign of weakness or even a straight leg down. I've also talked about the possibility and what do we need to see for the price to go up. And one thing here, the support line now becomes the resistance. You see this week so far, the price isn't able to get past that line yet. Okay, daily chart is showing us that the downtrend that started, you see the clear rejection from here, this long wick on the 10th. it's still continuing. So we are 3.5 weeks in, and there are a couple of chances that the whales are going to confirm whether we are going through or we're going to break the downtrend. So in February, we have 3 dates, the 9th, the 13th, and the 21st. These 3 dates are showing us when the price trade towards those triangles, there is a chance that it's going to break outside of this downtrend and start to trade along a resistance level, confirming that this downtrend is over. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is going to trade sideways or even upwards immediately. Sometimes, if the narrative turns south, it can start to initiate another downtrend again. All right. So, like this over here, the downtrend becomes sideways and then it went up. But sometimes, the uptrend like this one, it became sideways, but then it started to turn south. All right. So don't get caught off guard if there is like a rally seems to be forming. It may just be turning back into a sideways and then downwards. All right. So these are the indication of the dates. If February completely fails and it comes down really to a sign of weakness around the yellow key level or even lower, like what it did back in November, October time last year, we have to wait till March, early March, to get the next confirmation opportunity. Okay, if you're interested in getting access to these sessions 2 days earlier, join the channel membership now. Thank you. Here's another video you may be interested in. See you.